Yesterday was an emotional roller coaster.
Hey y'all, it's Andrea here at VW Family Farm. I'm out here this morning. I'm going to get a stall set up. We have got another calf that we've got to try to bring back from basically the brink of death. So that's what I'm working on this morning. I'm getting this stall fixed up for him. I've got to feed him, and I wanted to introduce him to you guys. All right, while Lane is working on getting this set up, I'm gonna feed this little guy, then I'll kind of tell you his story, but he's hungry, or he should be. He's not eating very well right now. So we're gonna try it in this bottle, and I may have to tube feed him. He just won't suck. He just got weak enough. He just can't do it. And that's what I was afraid of. This is what he's been doing. He just kind of holds it in his mouth, wallers it around, and we've got to get some nutrition in him. So I'm gonna tube feed him. We'd already decided last night that's what we needed to do, but I wanted to give him a chance, but I don't want to wait too long. He's just doing what he's been doing. When he gets ready to suck, he'll suck. He's done it before. He nursed his mom. So I'm just gonna get this down him. All right, so we are gonna feed this little guy. He's got a little bit of a snotty nose. Apologize for that in advance. He was a healthy little thing when he was first born. Good looking big bull. And then we noticed a few days after he was born that his mom was showing signs of mastitis. And that's when we sprang into action. We got her and him both up. We were treating her. That's a whole nother video for another day, how to treat mastitis. Some people do nothing. Some people do like home remedies. Some people hit it with antibiotics and things. We hit it pretty hard, I'll just say that. And tried everything we could. He was nursing, he was lively. She had 2 quarters affected and 2 he was nursing on. I don't know exactly what happened. My suspicions are he just wasn't getting enough, and day by day he was just getting a little bit weaker. So we just decided to make the decision to take him off his mom and bring him up here. We didn't think he was gonna make it if we didn't. Still not sure if he's gonna make it. He got weak enough that he's not sucking. That's what they'll do if they start to get a little weak. They just get like bleh, and just like we do when we don't feel good. He's been treated a couple times with some meds, and we've been feeding him multiple times a day because he just won't suck anymore. He won't nurse himself. So last night and this morning I've mixed up a concoction, and I'm gonna tube feed him because he just really needs nourishment. And then I'm also going to later today feed him some electrolytes and things like that. Get him some calf starter. We've got him some food in here already. Just anything we can to try to give him a fighting chance. Okay, so he has been drinking colostrum and milk from my milk cows, which is a great thing, but this is a different little concoction I've mixed up, and I'm gonna tube feed this to him. This is by no means a tutorial on this, but I am gonna show you how I do this. So I hold their neck up because I wanna feed this down into his stomach and not into his lungs. And while I'm feeding it, and in fact I got my hand swapped, I'm feeling his throat area with this hand to make sure it's going in the hole I want it to. I've never actually drowned one yet. So I kind of hold him up like this. Has a little notch right here. That's where I stop, because if you go too far, it won't drain properly. I keep it down until I'm ready to start feeding him because I don't want it going in his lungs as it's trying to find the right hole back there. When I'm ready, which I am now, I'll lift this up. They're gonna spit and sputter a bit because you've put something down their throat. That's normal. That doesn't mean it's in the wrong hole. I can hear him breathing. He might even make some little calf noises, things like that. As it starts going in, they'll fight you a little bit, all of which is normal. And you can see in this bag, Emily showed this bag. When you see that, you know you're in the right place and you're in business. Fighting's normal. It's a good sign, actually, if he's feeling spunky enough. It's okay, Bubba. We're almost done. Even if they start to go down, go with them a little bit so you don't mess this up. He's breathing. I just heard him do it. He's fine. We're in the right hole. I let it drain completely. You can see it's going away. I give it another few seconds. And then this is just me personally. I keep it up while I pull it out so I don't lower it and start siphoning it back out. So keep it up and then I just gently pull it out.
So you may have seen where Ben put this little guy on Facebook, and we had several comments, emails and things that said, how do you guys spot cow problems and calf problems and things like that in that big of a herd? And the truth is, you just have to have confidence in yourself. The longer you do it, the longer you have cattle or goats or chickens or anything for that matter, it's just like with your kids. You'll start recognizing when something just isn't right. So I wanted to show you guys a few clips before we jump off here of some footage we've had of him in the past few videos and of his mom. And just, you can see for yourself what you can see as far as his mom's left side of her udder being very, very big and swollen. And in beef cows, sometimes there's just not a lot you can do to prevent mastitis. For one, in this case, and we've had this before, actually in one of my milk cows, in Bella, they get very big and engorged with milk before they ever have their calf. And in fact, in Bella's case, and I suspect in this one too, they had mastitis before they ever calved. So in that case, you're not going to do anything about it, because you're not going to go around and every big enlarged udder you see start milking them. For one, beef cows, you can't always do that because they're not tame enough to do that. Also, you don't want to milk a cow that has not calved yet and take that colostrum. And on top of that, a large udder is a lot of times a good thing. That means they have plenty of milk and they're going to be able to feed that calf and have a big healthy calf. So it's just something that happens sometimes in cattle. So what tipped us off is several days after she calved, her udder should have been going down, especially for a beef cow, because they don't have like a huge udder like a milk cow to where their calf can't keep up with it. They generally only raise one calf at a time. They struggle sometimes even to raise twins. So if their udder stays enlarged, you better start checking it out, which was this case. So that tipped us off that, hey, this little guy's only got 2 quarters to choose from. The other 2, they're so far gone at this point, she won't have milk in them on this calving, and she may not have milk in those in the future. That's what happened to Bella as well. Once it gets to the point that there's no milk in there, and it kind of gets hard, they're kind of done for as far as milk in those quarters, in our experience. And if you've noticed over our past few videos, we've shown this calf 836 several times. He's cute, he's tame, he's just one of those that lets you get close to him. And if you notice, he's big and up and healthy and spunky, and his ears are up and his eyes are bright and his head is held up when he's walking. But on the last couple of videos you might have seen him in, he was starting to go down a little bit. Ears a little bit down, head a little bit droopy, not as spunky, kind of just laid off by himself, which can be normal as well, but in his case, it was a change in character for him. So that's the answer to that. That's how we spot problems, and a lot of times it's just trial and error and go with your gut. So if you think something's wrong, you check it out and investigate further so it doesn't affect your herd.
So he's got a nice clean place in here. This is some extra rice hulls that we had bought for our chicken brooder. So he's got a nice dry place, in out of the weather. We've tube fed him. I know his nose looks bad, but he is actually doing better. When we first got him up here, he was kind of just to the point, I think he was just on the brink, and he was kind of just laying out flat. You can see he's sitting up. His head is up, his ears are still droopy, but we'll keep an eye on him. I'll give you guys an update as time goes on, but if you think about it, remember little 836. He's trying to pull through. We're trying absolutely everything we can. All right, it's the next day. I know I look absolutely lovely, but this is real life on the farm. So I tube fed him. Y'all saw me do it yesterday, and then I actually came back and tube fed him a bottle of electrolytes midday yesterday, and then tube fed him an entire bottle last night. So we're going to tube feed this morning because he's just not strong enough. He's been trying to stand, so I think he's getting stronger, but he's not strong enough to suck yet.
So here's the deal. We haven't been anywhere in like a year and a half or so to spend the night. Lo and behold, we're supposed to go on a little road trip today and spend the night somewhere. So guess what? He's going with us. That's a real good sign. We're gonna get a little bath for our road trip. Gotta clean your nose. This is just some warm water and Dr. Bronner's. Yesterday was an emotional roller coaster. So you can see in what I showed you already that we got up and we were getting ready to go out of town. I fed the calf, all seemed fine. He actually seemed to be getting better. So we went about our daily chores, started getting animals ready and all that, and everything just took longer because we haven't been somewhere and spent the night in so long with COVID, and then just our farm. We're pretty tied down right now, so it'd been a long time, and literally just to go somewhere for like 24 hours was such a huge deal. So we got everything ready, and Ben and Lane went back to check the cows, and lo and behold, Josie, our milk cow, we've been waiting on her to calve, hoping a milk cow would calve for the little calf that I'm in bottle feeding, and sure enough, Josie did. Now, it was obvious Josie had calved. You could see the afterbirth, you could see the effects of it. She's been huge with milk for a while now, and there was the calf. It looks a lot like Miracle to me. It was just obvious it's Josie's calf. There's pretty Josie. She may be my favorite milk cow of all. I love her so much, her and Miracle. And she's actually Miracle's mama. Aren't you, girl? You're famous Miracle's mama. She's a good mama too. Let me show you this baby. Oh. She's gonna get up for y'all. She's a sweet little heifer calf. So you can see they're doing awesome, but the weird thing was right after she was born, another cow tried to take Josie's calf. She was getting in there and like nudging Josie out of the way and taking the calf, nudging it and taking it off by herself. And the calf was confused because they were both acting motherly, but that other black cow that's a beef cow was dominating Josie and making the baby think that, hey, I'm your mom. And Josie's baby actually wound up nursing that beef cow, and it was obvious that Josie was her mom. So that took a while. Ben had to get that baby up and bring him up here to the corral to give them a little bonding time, get them away from that beef cow. That beef cow wound up calving today. We came back from being gone last night and she had calved today. So we've had that happen one other time. You just have to really pay attention. Cows will act pretty strange sometimes. So we got that situation taken care of, and then this was the high end of the roller coaster. This was super exciting. We had a truck pull up that we were actually not expecting until Monday, but we got a delivery. So that is literally a dream come true for us, is to have some good chute equipment. You can see we got a new chute and head gate and a sweep tub. I don't even know what all it is. We're going to be showing you guys that next week. The people from Tartar are actually coming out. Cannot wait to meet them. And they're going to actually help us get it all set up. We're going to do some shooting with that. We are pumped about that. And that last little piece of equipment I showed you is what they call a vet cage or a palpation cage, or it's called all different kinds of things. I'm so excited about that. What that means is no more climbing over to get back in there to AI or to preg check or anything for me to administer meds or whatever. You can do it. You can go through a gate to walk in there. I can't tell you guys how many times I've slipped on panels in muddy, poopy boots and things trying to climb over, bust your chin, bust your mouth, bust your head. So I am pumped about that piece of equipment. So in the midst of all that, I had gotten this cage loaded up and all the calf supplies. We were actually just decided we were taking the little calf on a road trip with us. That's all we could think of to do. He was pretty complicated and couldn't leave him with anybody. This cage is plenty big enough. So we got him loaded and we were just about ready to go. He'd literally been loaded about, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, and went and looked at him and he had died. That kind of stuff bothers me. I'm not gonna pretend it doesn't. I do have to somewhat be able to process it a bit differently. I can't take every single thing on this farm so deep to heart that I literally can't keep going and that I just get down and depressed and need to go lay down. I can't do that. I physically can't do it, because if I do that, there's so many other lives around here depending on me. I would be no good to them either. So we did wind up going even after 836 had passed away. I will say I was glad that if it was going to happen, it happened here at the farm and not when we were out away from home and wouldn't know what to do and all that. He didn't have to endure riding in a cage in the back of the truck. He didn't have to endure any of that. And I just think in a case like this, it was just one of those pretty much unavoidable situations. When a cow like his mom gets so full of milk, and it's a beef cow and they're not used to that, before they ever have a calf, there's not a lot you can do. Like I told you earlier in the video, you can't hardly avoid it because you can't go start milking them and take their colostrum away from what's their newborn baby that's coming. And you don't know that there's a problem until the baby is born, and then they don't nurse down those quarters and they just stay huge and engorged. Then you're clued in that there's a problem. But in this case, and it happened with my milk cow Bella, at that point it's pretty much the damage is done. You're on damage control at that point, because in both cases their udder was already hard. It already went that far and it had become what I understand that they call systemic, like it had went into their bloodstream. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if 836's mom is gonna make it either. She's not doing too great. We've done everything we know to do for her as well. We've had her up for days and days at a time, treating her and watching her and trying to help her with every solution we can. And she's just not getting better. So I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know how long she'll make it either. But then the day did end on another high. Yesterday was our daughter's first time ever to go to prom. She went with a super nice boy and they had a great time, and I know she made us proud in the way she acted, and she wore a beautiful dress and she just had a wonderful time. And so that was pretty cool to see that our little girl has grown up. It's come full circle from Ben and I being teenagers and those young kids to now our daughter going to prom. Life just never stops. And some things are good, some things are hard. And sometimes we have to accept the hard if we want to keep receiving the good. And I feel like that's kind of where we are. If we start taking out things in this world that aren't according to our plan, you might miss something beautiful that is not according to your plan as well. So anyway, we will see you guys on the next one. We love and appreciate you. Thanks for watching. God bless. One last thing I wanted to mention. I mentioned that we'd been waiting on Josie the calf to help us feed the little calf we've been bottle feeding. Well, she is looking pretty large too. You might have noticed that on the clip I showed you. So we are actually about to go milk her now, just to prevent her getting mastitis as well from being so engorged. Also, when my milk cows calve and have way more than one little calf can drink at the beginning, I do milk them down sometimes. I let the calf get plenty of colostrum, and then I will milk some off to freeze for later. That's what kept calf 836 alive for the week that we did, was having stored up milk and colostrum, which is tailored to a calf. It's so much better than milk replacer. We were transitioning to milk replacer because it has its place as well. We didn't have enough milk to feed it all along, but if you can store up a bit of milk, that's always ideal.